Good morning, everyone. It is Rollie, and we are coming again to you for Chatting with Wisdom. And this week we have, how do you pronounce your name? Because I don't want to pronounce it wrong.
Beata, B-E-A-T-A, Beata Seweryn-Reid.
Okay, so Beata, did I say that right?
Yes.
Yes, awesome. Okay, I'm not going to try and say your last name, though.
Okay. I always say Reid is the easiest part of my full name.
So Beata is here to share with us how our thinking impacts our outcomes. So Beata is a transformational life coach, international speaker, and a change maker. She was awarded the Women of Excellence 2019 by the Women's Economic Forum in India. She immigrated from Poland in 2011, and she just recently became a citizen of the USA. Congratulations.
Thank you.
She enjoys helping others conquer significant changes in their lives, breaking through limiting thoughts to achieve the life that they desire. So welcome. So how are you?
I'm awesome. I'm sorry, I was trying to share this on my Facebook because we're gonna talk about great stuff, and Rollie is here. I love you, girl. I know that we don't know each other very well, but I follow you. I listen to the Chatting with Wisdom, and you do great stuff. So I'm honored to be here, and I feel wonderful.
That's awesome. So today we have we're cold. I'm not sure where it is that you are in the US, but like we are cold. And I know that your cold is not the same as our cold because we're way up.
I'm from Poland, so I know you're cold.
Okay. Yeah, so our cold is pretty cold.
It's freezing cold.
Yeah, so you go the further down south, it's like, oh, I can walk around in shorts and everybody else is bundled up in like parkas, right?
Right. Yeah, so I'm originally from Poland, living in Colorado for last almost 10 years. Gosh, time is flying. But when I came for like my first winters in Colorado, it is cold, but it's okay. So when people were, oh my gosh, shaking, I was like, you don't know what is winter.
That's so true. So you must be enjoying the change in weather and the way that it, or do you like the cold?
No, absolutely not. I'm a warm, areas person. So it's funny because it's what we're gonna talk about. Change, adjustment. So when I moved, my body also adjusted. So even now, the winter's here, which I'm not scared of winter, but it's cold for me. It's like, it's cold.
And you're right, we do adjust, right? So like, and that is that whole impact, that whole things that you're actually talking about. So which leads us to how thinking impacts our outcomes. So what are some of the things that you can share about how that works?
Oh my gosh, yes. So just think about that. And when I say just think about that, who in the world thinks about their own thinking? No one. We don't really focus on how our thinking works because we just do it. It's natural. We adjust it. We were born. It's what humans do. And yeah, so we just go. I'm gonna bring example of my own because the biggest adjustment for me, I think it was moving from Poland to United States, where I visited United States before my formal move. And I thought that, oh my God, I love out there. It's amazing. It's just gonna be better. And I'm sure you have it in your own practice and in your own experience. When change comes and you don't like it, it's unexpected, and it's just not what you want. Sometimes we freeze, sometimes we run away from what is presented to us. And I was in this moment in my life 12 years, more than 12 years ago, where I did not like the change that happened to me. I don't know if I can share my...
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so I was in a long relationship for 11 years, and just before my 11th anniversary, and just to, because then people ask me, no, I was not engaged for 11 years. I was in a relationship for 11 years. We were engaged just for a couple years, because sometimes people say, what? You were engaged for 11 years? No. So, but the point is that my fiance decided to start different life with different person and just texted me that it's over. So it was the change that I did not want to accept. It's like, no, it cannot happen to me. It took me on a long journey of adjustment. So let me just shortly explain what is change, because I think it's also often misunderstood. Change and transition. Change is the event that usually happens very fast, like with the pandemic. It just came, happened, and we are shocked usually, don't want to accept. And transition is the inner journey, the emotional adjustment to what is presented to us. And it's where I was at that moment. I did not want to accept what happened. It could not happen to me. Come on, God, why are you doing like what? What did I do that you punish me? Yes, it's how we often think. And then I went on the inner adjustment. And this journey is, slow. It's William Bridges, he talks about change and transition, and he says this beautifully. Change is fast, transition is slow, because we have to adjust our thinking to our heart and what the pain that is there happening because of the change. So I was on this emotional journey and decided that, oh my gosh, I've been in United States. I was so happy right there, up there. So I'm just gonna move. And it's what I did in 2011. But you have to know, and probably many of you knows that already, it's just a reminder, wherever you go, there you are with everything what is in your head, because you cannot leave your thoughts, you cannot leave your emotions. I was like, I crossed the ocean, I will be free. What an illusion. It all came with me. I started new life, but it was just the circumstances change, the outside surroundings change, people change, but inside I was still this poor, unhappy victim mind in me. It was all here with me. Yeah. So yes, so how our thinking impacts our outcomes. Whatever you think, you become. So we are what we think. So I think Buddha said that, like, we become what we think, or if you, whatever thought is that you focus constantly every single day. I'm not happy. Life is not fair to me. It shouldn't happen to me. Everyone has better life. I suck. I'm not enough. It's what you're gonna see around you, because you want it or not, we live actually from the inside out, and no one's really teaches us that. Don't you think, Rollie? Like, we are born, and everything what we are taught is bigger house, great career. It's all outside. They don't say that the outside is just a reflection of what you have on the inside. And the inside, I touch my heart, because we operate on the feelings. But what creates feelings? Thoughts. There are thoughts, feelings, emotions, and then there are actions. But before actions, the thoughts and feelings and emotions creates patterns, habits, limiting beliefs, and the stories that run our lives. Because you can have the story that supports you and gives you power to achieve what you want in your life, to follow your dreams, or it can stop you. I've been there. I was stuck for so long because I was living in the victim story that I don't deserve, that it's possible for everyone else, but not me. So when I moved to the US, I just found another ways to stay where I was before. I decided, because whatever life we live is a decision. I decided that my accent is a big barrier, that it's what's stopping me from the success, that because I'm from different country, I don't belong, and these other people, they have easier. I probably will never succeed because I'm the immigrant. So I had so many limiting stories, but it was all based on the story that I brought from my country, from the years that I didn't know the inner child and all the cultural limitations. I felt guilty. Can you imagine? I felt guilty that I live in US and that I left my family. Like, what craziness is that? Yeah, like, but you don't know what you don't know, and it's very hard to see from the inside of the box. And where are our thoughts? Right there. So you cannot really see your thinking. Oh my gosh, the researcher says that we think like 15,000 thoughts per second or more, or my gosh, even more. So how you can catch it? It's not possible, especially with all the distractions in the world. The change is like coming one after another. Life is change. Yeah. So it's really hard to focus. It's really hard to stop ourselves, especially when we are in this victim mentality and we think that that's it. Life is, it's all what I have. It's all what there is for me. So how I was able to actually pause and see what is stopping me. For me, and I actually heard a couple of ladies on your show that they are using the same tool, and I'm so happy. I use journaling. I was introduced into journaling when I was struggling with adapting to this new culture, a new relationship that I stepped into. And it was, oh my gosh, it was like the light, because when I start writing down my thoughts, I actually got aware of how I operate and what thoughts, what stories are stopping me, what stories are not supporting me to move forward. And it's the most funny, I think, now I laugh, what stories are not even mine because they were my mom's, the teachers, some coaches, like people around me, society, yeah, and the TV that I was, or people that I was a part of, like my tribe at that time. So most of that limiting thoughts, they were not even mine, but I just decided that, okay, it's who I am. Yes, sometimes people say, well, it's just who I am. I can't change. I was born like that. Oh, no. You were not born like that. You were trained to be like that. So, and then we just train ourselves to stay where we are. But I want to remind everyone, wherever you are today, your current destination is not your current situation is not your final destination, because I thought that the circumstances that I was in, that the outcomes that I was getting, it's all what there is, until I started really checking who I am, how do I think, what is my perception of the world. Because as you probably heard, if you change your perception, your life changes as well, because if you start looking at something from different perception, you say, oh, actually it's not that bad. This change really helped me. If I would not move from Poland here, I would never meet you. I would never be on this show. I would never do what I'm doing today, because I would not have that experience. I wouldn't know that change is hard, and I'm not gonna lie, it's challenging, but it's possible. And at the end, if you cross the bridge, and if you have someone like Rollie, for example, who can give you a light and show you that on the other side of this bridge, the bridge of change, there is something better for you. Because if you just look back in your life and you think about the changes that you already went through, I'm 100% sure that we can find evidence that now there is something that is much better than what you left. Because change, there is 3 stages of change. There is the beginning, and ending, because change starts, but something else just ended, and it's the most difficult part.
Yep.
Because we feel disoriented, we feel insecure, like what's going on, and it's where the resistance comes. We don't want it. I don't want to deal with it. It's too much. Just leave me alone. Again, I always say, God, why are you doing it to me? And he's not doing it to you. This is all for you, so you can get to the next level of your life. And then there is this neutral zone. So we are also we see that there might be something good in it, but the old thinking, the old habit is like, no, the safety zone is saying, no, you should stay where you were, because come on, you were safe there. Why to challenge yourself? And it's how our mind is created. Yes, it's human mind to keep us safe and keep in this old, familiar stuff. And the third part is adjustment. And again, it's not that everything around is changing because the world is adjusting to you, but you are adjusting to the world, and you start accepting that this change is not that bad. Like, look at the pandemics right now. Yeah. Like, I think we are between this neutral zone and the acceptance, because some of us is still fighting, but we are more we accepted that, okay, we have to wear masks. It's what is safe. And what else is amazing about that third zone? We start seeing possibilities. How many people these days are starting their own businesses? Yes, because our thinking adjusted, our feelings adjusted, that it's not that bad. We can survive. So the biggest impact on your outcome has your thinking and the stories that you tell yourself. And I remember when I was in coaching, because I was in a very dark place, especially mentally, and my coach said, Beata, you create so many stories. I said, yeah, I know, and I can tell you how terrible my life is, and there's gonna be 1,000 or million stories. And she's like, all right, how about creating same amount of stories but better ones? He's like, oh, can I really create a better story? And I started practicing it. So yes, you can create a better story, but first you have to get aware about what is your current story and how it's stopping you from living fully, because our thoughts can really keep us stuck in the places that you don't belong. And change is a really great example for that, because change is, like I said, change is painful, change is hard, but nothing is harder and more painful than staying in the place, relationship, jobs, country even, where you don't belong, because you already know, your heart and your brain and your soul knows that there is a next level for you, that you need to move. And that's why the change came. Change always comes to kick our butt, to say, hello, there is more for you. If you don't move your butt, I'm gonna help you.
And sometimes, and that's the thing, is that when somebody, and I actually shared a quote, and I can't remember what it is exactly off the top of my head, but I shared that in an email recently, or it's coming into an email sometime this week. And so, but it was about that, specifically about that change, and that when we make the decision to change is easy.
Yes.
When we make that decision and it's like, okay, we're ready to go, change is easy. It doesn't mean that there's no sections in it that's a little bit more challenging, but it's easier because we're already at that acceptance stage of,
right,
okay, we've initiated this change. We want this to happen. We want it to be a different story. But then when it just happens to us, because life does happen, right? So when things happen
every day,
we have to kind of figure out, like, now I was comfortable. I was in my nice cozy little bed, and now I just tuck my blankets. Like, how am I supposed to stay comfy now, right? So it's that part of things. And one of the things that you said that was really interesting was that illusion, right? So we often forget that, like, when we think the grass is greener on the other side, without looking at the things that are going on in our lives right now. And we're like, okay, well, we're just going to jump the fence and we're going to go over to the neighbor's house, and life is going to be great and life is going to be grand because I'm going to be able to be just like them. But that's not the case, right? It's that illusion that things, because the only constant in your life is you.
Yes, right? And you have to know yourself and be authentic, because you can fake and try to be. I tried to be so American, and excuse me, how can you with this accent? Anyway, but I was trying so hard, and it was uncomfortable because I was denying my own identity. I lost it. I didn't know who I am, and I think during changes and transitions in life, we often we lose our sense of who we are and identity. Then it's very easy to attach to something that sounds better, but it's not you, and you're gonna feel it. You know that it's not you, because it's just, even I always say I have this an ache in my stomach. It's this tension your body is telling you, and your body gets signals from where? From your head, because here is your boss. So again, it's all taking circle to the thinking.
Yeah.
Think about your thoughts. What story are you telling yourself? And change it. Decision, you said that. Oh my gosh, don't lose the sense of who you are. Values, I think, also are very important, because values are like the road signs, like they are navigate us to where we really want to go and who we really are, without all these labels that we for years put on ourselves, or they were put it on us.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the things that I always make sure that my clients know, is that you take what you need and you leave the rest, right? So listening to Chatting with Wisdom this week or last week, or in future weeks, is like, so when somebody's sharing, you take what you need and you leave the rest. If it's not yours, you don't pick it up. You don't carry something that doesn't belong to you. And that goes with that values, that goes with that authentic self. And you've got these, and like you said, your body has those signals that tells you, like, yeah, that doesn't quite feel right. And it's not the same as when you're going through that change, because like there's a different resistance that your body gives you, like, oh, I don't know, like that's pretty fearful, or like, so like that's a different feeling than, yeah, that doesn't feel right. So like there's those two different feelings. And I was actually working with a little girl yesterday, and that was one of the things that we were talking about, was listening to those body signals, right? So it's like listening to those, like, does that feel right, or does that not feel right? Like, is it feeling okay, or is it not feeling okay? Because we've got those our bodies tell us, like, our bodies have those alarm bells. We listen to those alarm bells on our car, at least I hope we do, because otherwise you're going to have a car that's not running in the middle of the road. But we listen to those when those dash lights come on, you're like, oh, there's an engine light on, what's going on? But we don't listen to that same light within our own selves when it comes to, like, listening to our values, and like you said, kind of stepping into, I'm going to be American, right? So I'm going to do this. I'm going to change my whole being of who I am.
Right.
And not everything of being American has your values and the things that are important to you from a core level, right? So we all have that core base. We have that core base of who we are in terms of that authentic self. And sometimes we don't know who that is or what that is, because we've been conditioned for so many years of, like, this is who I need to be, and that can be something. And we see this with women a lot, because women become moms, they become wives, they become whatever their businesses are, and then they forget. And so, like, when we get into my age, I have a lot of women that are like, oh, okay, but I used to do these things. I used to be fun, right? So I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot with women our age that say, well, I used to be fun. It's like, well, you still are fun. You just need to find yourself again,
right,
to be able to do that, right? So, like, when you get enmeshed into a relationship. Relationships are great, but when we get stuck in them, so like when you talk about your situation and the relationship just ended, like that was 11 years that you became adjusted and comfortable in all the things that were going on in your life, and then all of a sudden it's not there anymore.
Right. And we are never really ready for change, yes, until we decide if it's happened. That's okay. What now? So I just want to go back quickly to journaling. It's what helped me, and breathing. People, and I forgot to breathe. I was leaving, but like the kind of like, and when you cannot breathe, you don't really leave. So journaling, breathing, and meditation really saved my life, because I could really, when we are during change, we don't know, we are disoriented, you say, and you said that too. So we have to get clear. And it's what I always start with my clients that are coming so disoriented and like, I don't know. I don't know who I am. I don't know what to do, because also relation with women, we love to belong. So we try so hard that we eventually become our partners, and then you are the same, and the same people don't really go together. You have to be you and just bring your differences, and it's what makes this relationship beautiful. But I have many ladies that they forgot who they are, because they wanted satisfied so much their partners that they eventually became just like a shadow of their partners. And it's what was the problem. So clarity, again, you have to get clear on where you are, how did you got here, and what direction do you want to go, who you want to become. If you lost this part of the sense of your identity, who you really wanted to be before the work, the partners, the jobs, and everyone else's expectations decided that, okay, I'm just gonna be that person to be liked, to be loved, to work, or to be accepted. So clarity is number one. And the second, I always work, or the second step, I would say, in my coaching is confidence. Be confident to search for who you were before. Also, you are changing. Maybe who you were before, you are not today, and that's okay. But you need to realize who I am today then. So confidence for me is also, it's what I teach my ladies. It's not really about being tough or nothing is gonna break me. It's more about, and Brendon Burchard talks about, believe in yourself that I'm gonna figure out whatever comes to my life, because I did before. Oh my gosh, I'm 40 years old, so I was not born yesterday. I went through some stuff. There were changes in my life, and I'm sure there were changes in your life. So just look back, and it's what is my coaching about also. We look and focus my clients thinking on their strengths, because you have strengths and their ability to overcome challenges successfully. So this confidence, there's clarity, and the confidence in you that you are able to overcome whatever life is gonna present to you. And you have to stretch the comfort zone. The confidence is also the comfort zone very often that we are afraid to go. So I say, you don't have to jump from the plane if you don't feel like you want, but you always, every single day, can stretch one step at the time. And to me, started, and for my clients, with stretching your thoughts, your thinking, that there is something more. You are possible. Life is possible. Change is possible to be beautiful if you change your perception, if you stretch your current vision. And the step 3 is courage. You have to have courage to take actions. There is nothing gonna happen if there is no movement. And I'm the one who is the biggest example. I was waiting almost 6 years in misery, hoping that life is gonna change something for me for better. There is gonna be the silver platter presented, here you go, Beata, now you're gonna be happy. No, it did not happen. I had to go and create and find the silver platter and actually put the stuff that I want to be on the silver platter and present it to myself. So it's all on you. It can be sad or scary, I'm not sure, but there is no one who's gonna come and save you. You are your own savior. You and only you can change your life for a better. And again, I'm not saying that because I got so smart or I am so wise. I learned it and I was kicked in my butt really hard. And no, it's not the life. I was kicking myself because I was so stubborn and I was waiting. Don't wait. Take the life in your own hands and create the life that you want.
So, and there was a couple of things that you said in there. So you talked about the journaling, and I'm huge on journaling. And then you also talked about the, I lost my train of thought. So the journaling, and there was
briefing and meditation.
Yeah, no, it wasn't about that, but I'll go back to the journaling. Oh, looking back. So looking back, journaling. So those two things, one of the things that are like super important for us to be able to realize in both of those two things is that journaling doesn't mean like, I've got two different ways of journaling. So I've got like brain dumping, just getting rid of whatever it is that's going on. But like, that's not stuff that you focus on. The journaling part is like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? How do you want to become? And when you're looking back, you're not looking back at all the things that were wrong and all the things that were like, and not feeling. So the one part about looking back is looking at that distance. When you actually take a look back and say, okay, well, where am I now compared to where I was then? It's like, wow, because sometimes we get stuck on nothing is changing. But when we actually go back and use a timeline, okay,
it's the perception that I mentioned. Journaling is gonna show you different. I think for me in journaling, I become an observer. I'm not the person in the situation, but the observer is like, oh my gosh, who is that person from 10 years ago? Like, oh, I changed a lot and I achieved a lot, or even from month ago. So it gives you the not perception, the perspectives. The word. So you can compare and see your progress, because I was that person also. I was like, I don't achieve anything. It's all the same. Like, I just do what I do. And some people was like, oh my gosh, you are so brave. You did this. I was like, really? It's just what I do. Yeah. So we are living in the box and not seeing our own achievements. And also no one is teaching us celebration. Ladies, celebrate every single day and celebrate you. And I'm still learning that. And really, I thought that I was celebrating, but not. I was not. I was this high achiever, like, okay, done, next. Yeah. So I was just checking out the boxes and moving forward, not celebrating. When you don't celebrate, there is the void that is happening in your heart, in your inner soul, that there is something missing, that because you don't have time to say, hey, I did it. Woohoo! Yes. And pat yourself if you don't have anyone else, or give yourself high five, because come on, if we don't see ourselves as a great people, who else is gonna see? If you don't see your achievements, who else is gonna see it? And the waiting part, like when we wait for someone to notice that, we are humans, we like that. But if we just wait, life is gonna just pass on, and we're gonna wait and think that we are not enough, that we did not achieve enough. And it's not true. It's a lie that we tell ourselves every freaking single day.
And it's those stories, right? So those stories that we tell. And sometimes we fall back into, like, even when we've made changes, we change into whatever it is that's going on, and that whatever it is that's happening, because like we're in that momentum, and then something happens to trigger, and again, it's a thought, something happens to trigger us to say, oh, okay, I'm back to being worthless, and I'm back to all these different things that we feel that are not true. And those are those old stories. Those are old stories that somebody else helped to implant, that are not ours. right?
Absolutely. And sorry, but I forgot where I was going with my thought. So, but you mentioned the journaling, that we go back and see how we were. But also, I think, and you said that it's not just about like writing, brain dumping, but it is about dumping very often at the beginning, especially when you are not too familiar, because it helps to release the emotions. How many of us these days, with all this stuff what is going on, we have no ways to release the emotions that are the thoughts, emotions, remember, thoughts, emotions, feelings, and then habits and actions. And if you are in this state when you feel overwhelmed, it's very easy to just stay where you are, and in action. And when you dump the thoughts, the frustration, because how often we are frustrated and we don't know where to go with it, or we start yelling at our partners or kids and throwing stuff around, and it's like, where did this come from? So this is a great time to take a 5 minutes, 3 minutes, separate. I have a client, she locks herself in a closet because the kids are at home, husband at home, and it's the only place where I leave a note, do not disturb, and I log myself in the closet, and I write the frustration out. And then I come out and I'm better mom, I'm better partner, because I release this emotional heaviness that I didn't know what to do with. So it's, I think, journaling, and you do it, so you know, it helps to release the stuff, this overwhelm, the anger often. And then I would suggest to do the guiding, like with coaches. I think the best one. But if you don't have coach, there is so many prompts online that can help you. So because when we just write, sometimes we are lost, we don't know why I'm writing it, and it's also good. But if you want some directions, find a prompt. And for example, I often start my day with, how do I want to feel today? And because it's directing me. No one wants to feel bad. You are not gonna say, I want to feel angry today. Oh no, no one wants that. Yes. So you say, I want to feel wonderful. It's changing your neural paths. Your body is like, yes, like it's getting more straight. It's like, I want to feel wonderful. So we are programming ourselves to have a better day. And if you are in a traffic, I tested it, trust me. I start my day like that. I do a gratitude list. I do this positive, so questioning, yes, of how do I want to feel, and what I want to do today. It's all in preparing myself to have tune in a better energy. And when you get into traffic, and usually, you know, I'm Polish driver, I'm not patient. So when someone is cutting me through or driving like crazy, I was like, what the heck? And it's already, you know, when you get in this mindset, when something turns you off, you take it to your job, you take it to your home, and this energy is just messes your day. And you are nervous or stressed or frustrated, and you don't even know why. And it was just this event. Somebody was driving like crazy, or they cut you off and you got upset. But there is that exercise that I learned from different coach. There is the word wait, WAIT, wait. So it's always, what am I thinking at the moment? Is it helping me? Nice. What am I thinking? So when you got in this moment of frustration, or somebody cut you off in the traffic, it's like, what am I thinking? Because for me, it was, he is jerk or she is jerk, like, oh my gosh. So judging was coming out right away. But if I stopped myself for a second and said, what am I thinking? What am I telling myself? It changed my perceptions. Like, oh, maybe actually they are busy driving fast because they feel late, and maybe their boss is not so nice and accepting that they're gonna be late, or their kids needs them, or they drive, I don't know. And I think this I don't know sometimes takes us on the weird and not really nice paths. But if we just give ourselves a space, a little word, wait, what am I thinking? What am I telling myself? Can bring you back to this positive side of life, and won't ruin your day, because I used to ruin my day in the morning just because I was upset about driving in the traffic. So it's silly, but I'm not shy to say that, because it's part of my journey, and it's change. Change is beautiful. I'm telling you. I know it can say silly, but if I would not change, I would not talk to you today. I would not be happy, because I would, this miserable Polish little girl that was hoping that life is gonna bring her greatness, that she doesn't need to do anything. But I changed my story. I changed my life, and I'm a happy person today, helping other women. And I'm sure, Rollie, you have similar story, because you would not be talking to me today and helping all these ladies that are listening to you today.
Well, and you're right. Like, there are those stories, right? There's all these different things. I'm getting an echo all of a sudden.
Really?
That's really
on
weird.
My side?
No, on my side.
Huh.
Weird. It just happens.
You know, it's life. You cannot fake life.
So one of the things that Beata has that she's able to share, and I'm actually going to put her link in the comments, is she actually has a how to journal. Is it 10-step or 12-step?
Sorry?
Your steps that you have, like, is it a
10 steps to better journaling? Yes, 10 steps to better journaling. And it's basically how the story, kind of part of the story of my life, and how I use journaling to help myself to become better person and to be and do who I am today.
Yep. Well, and if you go onto Beata's website, it'll give you that link. So when you actually go on, her pop-up will come up, and so you can actually get the journal that way. And so, but yeah, definitely. So how else can other people work with you if that's something? So obviously you're sharing the journal, but how else can people work with you if they're looking to work?
Oh, absolutely. So I do one-on-one, and it's virtual these days. I have a couple clients in my town that we meet once a while, but mostly it's online. Became a virtual coach. And again, come on, would I know it before pandemic came? No. So we adjust, and we just adjust and do what is best for others and us at the moment. So I do one-on-one, and my Courage to Change is the program that I run and what I was coached. And I studied and still study with Bob Proctor, and it's about changing your thinking, because when you change your thinking, you change your emotions, your state of being, and you change your outcomes. And change is possible. Change is great. I have the next step. It's a mastermind group where we do it in a group, because not everyone wants to do one-on-one, and I understand. And groups are awesome, because it's your tribe. It's your tribe that is gonna always support you. And after that, I just alter. I have free consultation. So I invite you to have a free consultation, and then we just create whatever based on your needs, whatever I believe is best for you, based on your information, what you give me, and how we can improve you today, and how change can work for you, because change can work for you if you decide so.
Yep. And it's always about that decision. So thank you so much, Beata, for sharing your wisdom with us today. And I've loved having a conversation. And just so that you know, I love your accent. So, but just because I know that that's something for you that you struggle with.
I love my accent today, but I had to learn it and accept myself. I had to get aware that my difference, like the way I am, it's unique and it's beautiful, but it's part of the change and the transition and the path of self-growth and self-acceptance.
So thanks again for joining us. And so a reminder, next week we do not have a Chatting with Wisdom. It is Remembrance Day, and I do not work on Remembrance Day. I honor those who have fallen and all of our veterans. And so there will be no Chatting with Wisdom next week, but it'll be the week after. So looking forward to chatting with all of you then, and have a fabulous day. And I'm so sorry about this echo that just came on.
I don't hear your echo, so maybe no one can hear it.
Hopefully not, because it's like when you're talking on the phone and then all of a sudden you can actually hear your own self, and it's like,
I know. I had it yesterday, and my the gentleman that I was interviewing, he said, I don't hear anything.
So hopefully you guys don't hear an echo, but I'm like hearing this echoey thing happening. So I will chat with all of you guys later, and have a fabulous week, and I will chat